Hello, everyone. A very logical day to all of you. And here we are with the explanation of the first editorial of the Indian Express, August 17, 2023. It is not a very difficult one. It is about somebody. So we don't have many words there, but yes, of course, we have a few words. And those who are um, starting now listening to these editorials, so I would tell them that it is broken into three parts. One is the reading part, second is the main idea part, and while we are reading, we would be extracting the main idea, understanding the main idea. And second would be the vocabulary part, which I might take separately, or we'll be again discussing it along with the article only. And then, of course, you have the uh, a fourth part also to read, and to read is something that I give you just a word or a two so that you read a little on it, right? So that if those words appear in your RCs, you won't find them very threatening or intimidating. ऐसा डर नहीं लगेगा उससे. ठीक है. So thank you, Mr. Pathak. तो देखते हैं अब ये Mr. Pathak हैं कौन. So, the reading part, we'll see the article. So, in the late 1960s, the Gandhi Centenary Committee in Patna sent a young volunteer to work amidst the Dalit community in Betia. The volunteer Bindeshwar Pathak braved humiliation and ridicule from members of the Brahmin caste he was born into to spend 3 months in a village studying the socio-economic conditions of the scavenger community. Now, here comes the author's praise, you can say, that what did this volunteer do? This volunteer braved humiliation मतलब humiliation and ridicule, यानी लोग हंसते थे उनके ऊपर, उसका सामना किया, उसे braved कहते हैं. ठीक है. So brave is like he is a brave person, or the line is brave. In this sentence, the word brave is an adjective, but here when I use it as braved, that means it is working as a verb. So what did Mr. Pathak do? He braved humiliation and ridicule. He faced all that from members of the Brahmin caste. He was born in a Brahmin family, and then he was sent as a volunteer amidst the village and the scavenger community to study the scavenger community. Now, though most of you would know what is a scavenger community, but if you do not know, then this is a community which used to take care of the sewage part earlier when there was not these updated sewage systems like we all have now. Right? Earlier it was a manual scavenging, you can say. तो वो scavengers होते हैं. ठीक है, वो सब काम करते थे. Now, despite his familiarity with the realities of caste atrocities, atrocities would mean cruelties, right? So, atrocities is cruelty, oppressions जो होते थे बहुत ज़्यादा. This was an eye-opening experience, right? So, when he got to understand them, scavenger community में जाके 3 महीने रहे, so he got to know about the actual experience. It was the first hand experience there. Now, those are times when open defecation was a common practice, right? Open defecation, common practice, not even the elites in large parts of the country were exempt. That exempted means except. उन्हें भी छोड़ा नहीं गया. That means even they were going for open defecation. Why? Because there were no facilities in the country in that time. Not many. So septic tanks were costly, and only very few towns had good sewerage networks. Public toilets were virtually non existent. The task of cleaning the night soil fell on the Dalit community, right? So, this was a task, the manual scavenging that was being done by the people. And who else will do it? The Dalit community. You have read about this in the in your history books, right? Mainly when you read about Gandhi ji, the 6th 7th 8th class ke aspas you must have read it. So Dalit community was doing this task. So Pathak, who had joined the Gandhi Centenary Committee, influenced by the Mahatma's message of restoring the dignity of the scavenger community, this was the task of Mr. Gandhi. Restoring the dignity of the scavenger community, made it a mission to replace the bucket latrines, right? These were the earlier types, the bucket latrines. Out of that quest was born, quest means in search of. He wanted to do something to remove this problem and to restore the dignity of the scavenger community. So, what did he do? He thought of an idea, and that comes as the Sulab toilet. So, out of that quest was born the Sulab toilet, which does not use sewers or expensive treatment plants. It uses a fifth of the water used in conventional toilets. That means no water wastage, also allows easy switching between the pits to enable composting and can be customized to local conditions. ठीक है ये उसके तीन benefits थे what he came up with the Sulab toilet. So if you understand the word Sulab, it is again a Hindi word only. Sulab is something that you come up with ease, right? That is easy. So that is what he did. The three pointers that are given in the last part of the paragraph. ये उसने किया. So now what? Most importantly, this was the innovation. So the innovations of Pathak, who passed away on Tuesday, aged 80, freed many people from the scavenger community from the task of cleaning latrines. धीरे धीरे ये task हटता गया, खत्म होता गया. This was the use of technology for social upliftment at its most elementary level. राइट मोस्ट एलिमेंट्री लेवल यानी बेसिक लेवल देखो बेसिक लेवल पे सबसे पहले ये स्टार्ट हुआ दैट वाज द एडवेंट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी और द यूज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी नॉट द एडवेंट so Pathak was a sociology graduate not an engineer officials of the Bihar government had doubts about his project it took Pathak nearly 5 years what is seen here is his perseverance ठीक है perseverance to convince them of the Sulab toilet's efficacy. Efficacy is that yes, this is going to work. In 1973, the Ara municipality gave Matak rupees 500 to construct two toilets in the compound of its office. Word spread. In 1974, the Bihar government sent a circular to all local bodies to take Sulab's help to convert the bucket toilets into two-pit power flush toilets. Municipal corporations gave land and financed the construction of the toilets, but did not agree to pay for their maintenance. Pathak had to ask users to pay for the public facilities. ठीक है. An earlier attempt to make people pay for the public toilets by the colonial state had failed. तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा doubt आता है. But people quickly saw the merit of the clean, odorless, and environmental friendly Sulab toilets. That means what? We'll see that critically. Again, we'll come back to this. By 1980, 25,000 people were using Sulab public facilities in Patna alone. Sulab became the implementing agency for building and maintaining toilet blocks in educational institutions. This was a seminal contribution because seminal means the root. Sem का मतलब होता है seed. ठीक है अब ये एक seminal हमने इसके पहले एक word पढ़ा था elementary elementary language, elementary books. Elementary is the root level, the basic one. So seminal would mean again the seed one. Seed would mean the basic one. और यहाँ से फिर एक पूरा पौधा बन जाता है ना सीड से कैसे एक प्लांट बन जाता है so that was it. So this was a seminal contribution because the absence of latrines in schools would force a large number of girl students to drop out. Sulab has converted dry latrines into two-pit power flush latrines in more than 1,700 towns and built over 15 million toilets. Pathak has been featured nationally and internationally, including the Padma Bhushan and the Stockholm Water Prize. The government recognized Sulab's contribution to Swachh Bharat by awarding Pathak the Gandhi Peace Prize in 2016. His mission was indeed the forerunner of the government's flagship program. The greatest tribute to him would be to eliminate manual scavenging completely. Now, see, a very easy passage to understand, but we'll discuss a few pointers here. One, if I talk about the tone of this, पूरे passage का अगर tone देखेंगे, so there could be like many, many in the sense if I write one that is eulogizing. ठीक है सिंपल भाषा में praising what he did was appreciating what the author was doing was appreciating what the person did Mr. Pathak ठीक है now ये ऐसे टोन्स होंगे, बट कमिंग अप विथ हिज ओपिनियन और कमिंग अप एज अ नरेशन, ठीक है। इट वाज मेनली अ नरेशन। अगर हम उस पे स्टाइल पे जाएंगे तो उन्होंने पूरा कहानी बता दी कि उन्होंने कब स्टार्ट किया, कैसे स्टार्ट किया, एंड व्हाट वाज द इफेक्ट ऑफ इट, राइट। सो नरेटिव हो सकता है सिंपल, इंफॉर्मेटिव हो सकता है, पर नरेटिव वुड बी बेटर क्योंकि इसमें थोड़ा थोड़ा ऑथर ने कुछ अपना भी बोला है, ठीक है। लेकिन कहानी के जैसे चल रहा है वो सीक्वेंस वाइज चल रहा है, दैट इज व्हाई इट इज नरेटिव। सो एनी वर्ड रिलेटेड टू यूलोजाइजिंग, प्रेजिंग, अप्रिशिएटिंग, कमेंडिंग, कुछ भी हो सकता है, वो उसका टोन हो सकता है, राइट। नाउ आई कम बैक टू द फर्स्ट here. Now, in this case, if I talk about the second line, the volunteer Bindeshwar Pathak braved humiliation and ridicule from members of the Brahmin caste, right? अब यहाँ पर हमारा एक assumption आ सकता है author का. So what is the assumption of the author in this case, right? So what you need to do is to write the assumption. Second, if I ask you the hmm, right, this last part, what can be logically concluded? बस सिंपल सा कंक्लूजन, राइट। एक सीधा सिंपल सा सेंटेंस आ सकता है कंक्लूजन का, लॉजिकली कंक्लूडेड कर लो। आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट कंक्लूजन तो मैंने वही लिख लिया। ओके, लॉजिकली कंक्लूडेड, सो यू वुड राइट अ कंक्लूजन हियर, राइट। दिस विल बी योर सेकंड पॉइंट, दिस इज योर फर्स्ट पॉइंट। तो फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ में से एक अजम्पशन आएगा और एक कंक्लूजन आएगा, राइट। सेकेंड पैराग्राफ में से आई गेव यू द पॉइंट एक कि व्हाट इज रिफ्लेक्टेड। सपोज ऐसा क्वेश्चन बनता है कि व्हाट कैन बी अंडरस्टूड और व्हाट वर्च्यू of Mr. Pathak could be understood from these 2 3 lines. So that is perseverance, right? Because it took Pathak nearly 5 years. So what is reflected now? Which natural trait, which quality, or which virtue? कोई भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, ठीक है। मतलब हमें समझ में आ जाना चाहिए कि इसमें से कौन सी क्वालिटी उनकी दिख रही है, तो परसिवियरेंस की। सो दैट इज इट। आई गेव यू द थर्ड क्वेश्चन, तो इसमें से कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं बना रहे हम, ठीक है। अब डिड नॉट एग्री, फाइन। सो नाउ व्हाट, see this question, this sentence, it did not agree to pay for the maintenance, and then Pathak had to you ask users to pay for the public facilities. So what was Pathak's assumption? ये तुम्हारा थर्ड क्वेश्चन, ठीक है। पाठक का assumption क्या था? मिस्टर पाठक का assumption, सॉरी। तो when he had to ask the users to pay for public facilities, so my question is what was Mr. Pathak's assumption? ध्यान से सुनना और ध्यान से एक सिंपल सेंटेंस आएगा, लिख लेना पर, राइट। Then this question, an earlier attempt to make people pay for public toilets by the colonial state had failed, right? So, and till the end, Sulab toilets. So, what can be inferred? Inferred या concluded, आप जो भी लिख लो, बस इसमें से जो समझ में आए वो लिखना। तो एक तुम्हारा assumption रहेगा इस पार्ट पे, और एक रहेगा inference या conclusion, whatever you want, whatever you can write, just write it. Inference is a kind of conclusion only, right? So now you have how many? 4 questions to write, 4 points. ठीक है। So conclusion हो जाएगा, greatest tribute to him. His mission was indeed the forerunner of the government's flagship program. ठीक है। Oh, okay, fine. The last 2 sentences. Again, what can be concluded? ये हो गया तुम्हारा फिफ्थ क्वेश्चन, ठीक है। दो हमने कर लिए, छोटा सा पैराग्राफ पैसेज था, एक हमने टोन वाला समझ लिया और एक वो वर्ड वाला समझ लिया, क्वालिटी। तो आई कैन मेक दैट क्वेश्चन इंस्टेंटली। सो वी गॉट 7 questions on this passage, ठीक है, 5 we are doing on CR and 2 I gave you for RC, right? So I hope you will be answering me now. We'll quickly go to the main idea. So his Sulab toilet movement acknowledged the dignity of the citizen and presaged the idea of Swachh Bharat. Presage का meaning क्या हुआ? Presage का मतलब होता है coming up with a like he knows what is going to happen in the future. So that will be futuristic in the future. तो आइडिया मतलब स्वच्छ भारत का फाउंडेशन जैसे रहा बिकॉज इट गेव द आइडिया देयर, राइट? Now to read, yes, even this will be a homework. Empiricism, epistemology, दो words हैं, इसको पढ़ लेना, but you can read it on say Sunday. If you do not have time now, if you are busy with your exams or tests, so that's all for today. You still have to read these two words in the week only, but complete the reading, right? So thank you and have a logical day ahead and stay logical.